You are the observer. Let me be completely honest with you. What you're about to hear might shake the very foundation of what you believe to be true about life itself. Because once you truly understand this principle, the old definitions of reality begin to collapse. Here's the shocking truth. The world around you doesn't exist as a solid, fixed thing. It exists as a field of pure potential until the very moment you observe it. Your environment isn't a stone-carved fate, a fixed outcome, or a mysterious code waiting to be solved. It's a shimmering ocean of probabilities, suspended in possibility, waiting for your consciousness to name it into form. Sounds mystical? It's actually rooted in quantum physics. The famous double-slit experiment shattered our classical understanding of the universe. When particles pass through two slits without being observed, they behave like waves, creating an interference pattern, as if they exist in multiple states at once. But the instant an observer is introduced, when conscious attention is directed toward the process, something extraordinary happens. The wave collapses into a single particle. It chooses one position, one reality. Just the mere act of observation changes the outcome. So what does this mean for you? You are not a powerless spectator of some cosmic movie. You are the director, the conscious participant in the quantum theater. You collapse infinite possibilities into tangible experiences through the light of your awareness. But here's where most people misunderstand. This collapse from potential to reality doesn't happen randomly, nor through wishful thinking. It follows an intelligent pattern, the mechanics of how consciousness interacts with the quantum field. In physics, measurement simply means focused attention. It doesn't reveal what's already there. It determines what becomes real. Now let's translate that into daily life. Right this second, countless versions of your future coexist in the field. A timeline where you live your highest purpose. A timeline where you remain stuck in repetition. And infinite versions in between. The question isn't, do they exist? Quantum mechanics says they do. The real question is, which timeline will you collapse through the consistency of your observation? And here lies the trap. We believe we're seeing reality objectively, when in truth, we're choosing, over and over, which version of reality will continue. Every morning you wake up and mentally rehearse your worries, revisit old limits, replay the same self-narratives. You're not just noticing what is, you're voting for it to remain. Repeat it long enough, and it hardens into fate. Why do most people stay trapped? Not because they want to, but because they don't know how to shift the lens through which they observe. They think the same thoughts, trigger the same emotions, make the same choices, and recreate the same loop. Their observation keeps reinforcing the very reality they want to escape. But imagine this. What if you knew how to change the way you look? What if you stopped viewing life through the lens of lack and started observing deliberately, with quiet trust and genuine wonder? What if, instead of staring at what's missing, you trained yourself to see infinite potential? What if, instead of living from memories of disappointment, you aligned with a future that's already calling you? This is the essence of conscious creation, and it begins right now. Reality doesn't happen to you. It appears through you. The quantum field, that invisible matrix of vibrating energy, doesn't respond to empty affirmations. It responds to your consistent observation, charged with emotion and aligned intention. It doesn't read your words. It reads your energetic signature. So the ultimate question is this: where are you placing your attention? In every moment, your attention functions like a quantum spotlight. It illuminates one version of reality while leaving all others in the dark. Are you shining it on fear, doubt, and limitation? Or on gratitude, confidence, and expansion? Let's bring it into something tangible: losing a job. Person A observes the situation through the lens of lack. Fear of money, the story of rejection, the vibration of defeat. Their timeline collapses into struggle. Person B observes it through the lens of possibility. This is redirection towards something greater. Their timeline collapses into expansion. Same event. Two observers, two realities, and the field responds precisely to the dominant frequency of each observer. It's not about thinking positive. It's about realizing that your observation itself selects which possibility becomes real. From here, we move into the next part. Measurement, attention, and why where focus goes, energy flows, is not just a motivational quote, but an exact quantum mechanic. Before we continue, anchor this awareness by commenting to tune your vibration. What am I choosing to observe? You've just changed the lens, and from this new frame, reality begins to change. Part 2, measurement. Attention, where focus becomes energy. Have you ever wondered why a single glance, a fleeting thought, or a subtle shift in attention can completely alter the course of your day? Quantum physics calls that moment measurement, but not in the way we normally think. In classical science, measurement sounds mechanical, something done with instruments and data. Yet in modern physics, measurement means something far deeper: the conscious act of attention. When you observe, you influence. When you focus on one possibility, you cause the infinite wave of probabilities to collapse into a single, tangible outcome. This isn't just a theory from the lab. It's a mirror for how life actually unfolds every second. Think about this. You wake up, reach for your phone, see bills, bad news, unfinished work. Your mind instantly runs its old script: another heavy day. That's not just a thought, it's a measurement. At that very moment, you're sending a signal into the quantum field declaring, "This is the version of reality I choose to experience." And because the field acts like a perfect mirror, it reflects that frequency right back to you. But imagine if, instead, you paused. You took one deep breath and asked yourself, what is waiting to be seen through new eyes today? That single shift in focus reroutes energy itself. You've just chosen a different slit in the experiment, a new timeline for reality to collapse into. In quantum mechanics, scientists say, measurement doesn't reveal what's there, it determines what becomes real. In life, it's the same. Every time you measure, meaning every time you give attention, you're deciding what will appear next in your personal universe. If your attention habitually lingers in worry, scarcity, or resentment, your reality will echo those same frequencies. But when your attention rests on gratitude, possibility, and the unfolding of life, you train both your brain and your energy field to collapse a different script entirely. Pause for a second. Think of something that's been troubling you: money, relationships, health. Notice how you've been observing it. Do you look at it through the lens of, it's always hard, it never changes? If so, you're not stuck. You're simply repeating the same measurement over and over again. And because the quantum field is faithful to its data, it keeps giving you the same result. That's why most people feel trapped in cycles that seem impossible to break. It's not because they're unlucky or unworthy. It's because they've been measuring the same spot for too long. So what if you changed the experiment? Instead of measuring to confirm what's old, measure to discover what's new. Look at each experience as a wave of potential waiting to be observed through curiosity, not judgment. In that moment, you're not just seeing life differently. You're literally causing a quantum shift. Science already knows this. Energy follows awareness. Energy flows where your attention goes, always. So the real question is no longer, what do I want to happen? But rather, where do I keep looking the longest each day? Because that's the timeline you're collapsing. Once you understand this, you begin to realize something profound. You don't have to change the world out there. You only need to change the direction of your attention within. The field will handle the rest. Part 3. The Trap of Objective Observation. This is where almost everyone gets caught, in the illusion of being an objective observer. We've been trained to believe that we're simply witnessing what is. That reality exists out there, solid, independent, untouched by our awareness. But the deeper truth, confirmed again and again by quantum physics, is far more radical. You are never neutral. Every observation you make is a creative act. You are constantly selecting which version of reality becomes your lived experience. Every morning, when you open your eyes and immediately reach for your phone, scroll through the problems, the news, the unfinished tasks, your mind begins replaying a familiar program. And you tell yourself, I'm just checking what's going on. But beneath that surface, on the energetic level, you're doing something far more powerful and far more limiting. You're measuring the same timeline again. You're stabilizing the very version of reality you secretly wish to escape. You're not just seeing your day, you're voting for it to remain the same. Most of humanity lives inside this hypnosis, the trance of believing that life happens to them, that circumstances are fixed, that the world moves on its own, indifferent to their thoughts. And yet, day after day, through unconscious observation, they rebuild the same walls that confine them. Different days, same reality, because their focus keeps summoning the same frequencies. And here's the irony. They're not doing it because they want to stay stuck. They're doing it because no one ever told them that attention is the strongest creative force in the universe. Thoughts alone don't trap you. Habitual observation does. They think the same thoughts. They recall the same memories. They feel the same emotions. And through this loop, they keep broadcasting the same electromagnetic signal into the quantum field. The body, so used to these emotional chemicals, becomes addicted to the past. It starts operating as if yesterday never ended. The brain fires the same neural patterns. The heart emits the same magnetic field. The energy surrounding them thickens with familiarity. Not because the universe is cruel, but because the field is precise. It mirrors the dominant frequency you keep radiating. When you look at an old problem with the same emotion of frustration or fear, you're not remembering it. You're reinstalling it. You're pressing refresh on the same timeline. You are not just observing, you're reactivating. And reality, loyal to your focus, continues to exist exactly as you last measured it. We think we are powerless in the face of life, when in truth, we're simply unaware of the power of observation itself. The universe isn't forcing repetition upon us. We are unconsciously choosing it with our gaze. As long as your awareness is governed by emotional habits of the past, you will keep perceiving the same movie, even if the scenery, the people, and the props keep changing. This is the paradox of the objective observer. When you believe you're merely watching, you're actually co-creating. You are both the viewer and the projector. And until you awaken to that truth, you'll keep sitting in the same theater, watching the same film, never realizing that the reel keeps spinning because you never stopped looking. Part 4. The quantum field and your energetic signature. Reality does not exist apart from you. It's not a movie already scripted, playing out while you sit in the audience. Everything you see is appearing through your conscious participation. Physicists call it the quantum field, the invisible matrix that holds everything together. A boundless ocean of vibrating energy where infinite possibilities coexist, waiting to be called into form by your focused attention. This field doesn't respond to begging, hoping, or wishful affirmations. It doesn't understand human words. It only speaks one language, the language of vibration. And what it reads, with perfect precision, is your energetic signature. The frequency you emit through your emotions, your thoughts, and your state of being. The universe doesn't process your sentences. It doesn't hear, "I want change." It senses what's underneath that statement. Does your energy radiate trust or fear? Abundance or lack? Expansion or contraction? Each moment of your life, your attention acts as a quantum spotlight. Wherever you direct that light, one fragment of the infinite field begins to crystallize into form. Everything else, the countless probabilities not yet observed, remains floating in the dark, unchosen. So the real question isn't, what do I want to happen? It's, where am I shining the light of my awareness? If you constantly focus on what's missing, on what's wrong, on what you fear, the field mirrors back experiences that match those vibrations. But when you start cultivating feelings of gratitude, safety, and openness, you begin broadcasting a completely different signal, and the field, like an intelligent mirror, starts rearranging matter to reflect that coherence. Imagine standing in a dark room filled with thousands of possible realities: health, love, creativity, peace, prosperity, all floating unseen around you. You hold a flashlight in your hand. Wherever you point it, that area lights up and comes alive, while the rest remains hidden in shadow. That's how the quantum field works. It's waiting for the light of consciousness to define its shape. The field doesn't judge. It doesn't prefer good or bad. It simply mirrors frequency. If you observe through fear, it reflects fear. If you observe through gratitude, it reflects gratitude. There is no morality in this mechanism, only accuracy. That's why two people can live in the same external circumstances, yet experience entirely different realities. One sees loss and limitation, the other sees opportunity and expansion. The field doesn't play favorites. It amplifies whichever vibration is held the longest. So the deciding factor is never what's happening outside you. It's always the state you're broadcasting from within. It's not the words you speak, but the energy that fuels them. Not the goals you write down, but the alignment between your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs behind every action. Because the quantum field doesn't read your affirmations, it reads your coherence. It doesn't respond to your sentences, it responds to your signature. You are constantly signing your name on the fabric of reality through every emotion you sustain, every focus you repeat, every frequency you embody. And that signature, whether it vibrates in fear or in trust, is what the field recognizes as truth. Part 5. The bridge between science and spirituality. when consciousness designs reality. At this point, what's unfolding is no longer just philosophy. It's the sacred intersection where modern quantum science meets ancient spiritual wisdom, and both speak of the same truth. Consciousness is the fundamental architect of reality. For centuries, humanity has tried to separate science and spirit, as if the measurable and the mystical were two different worlds. But now, that line is dissolving. The deeper we peer into matter, the more we find mind, and the further we explore the cosmos, the more it begins to look like consciousness gazing back at itself. Pioneers such as Dr. Joe Dispenza, quantum physicist Amit Goswami, and thought leader Bob Proctor have spent decades bridging this divide, showing that physical reality is not the cause, but the effect of consciousness. Joe Dispenza's brain and heart coherence studies reveal a profound law of creation. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. He calls it the formula. Every time you unite clear intention with elevated emotion, you send a detailed set of instructions into the quantum field. And the field, obeying its natural design, reorganizes matter to match that blueprint. It's not effort, not struggle, but state of being that writes the code of reality. Amit Goswami, the Indian quantum physicist, said it plainly. Consciousness is the ground of all being, not the other way around. Matter does not create mind. Mind creates matter. Each of us is a localized point of universal awareness, and the act of observation is the quantum measurement that collapses potential waves into physical form. Bob Proctor described it more simply, yet just as powerfully. It's not the thought itself that creates, but the energy behind the thought. The universe doesn't respond to the surface of your affirmations. It responds to the vibration beneath them. If you say, "I am at peace," but your body hums with anxiety, the field doesn't hear the words. It reads the static in your frequency. Dispenza's research also found that when a person achieves internal coherence, when thought, emotion, and intention vibrate as one unified signal, the measurable changes are extraordinary. Brain waves harmonize. Heart rhythms become coherent. The magnetic field of the heart expands far beyond the body, interacting with the energy around it. Genes associated with regeneration, creativity, and immunity begin to activate. In those moments, the body and the field speak the same language. Energy aligns. Reality begins to rearrange. This is where meditation and physics meet, where stillness becomes science. When a human being enters deep coherence, the electromagnetic field of the heart grows thousands of times stronger than the brain's field. That energy doesn't just stay inside the body. It radiates into space, influencing particles, probabilities, and perhaps even timelines not yet chosen. At that point, consciousness is no longer a passive observer. It becomes the architect. It imprints a vibrational blueprint onto the quantum field, and that blueprint gradually instructs matter how to behave. Atoms align, events converge, synchronicities multiply. Reality begins to crystallize around the vibration of your being. So the real question isn't, what do I need to do to change reality? The real question is, what frequency am I being when I observe it? Because that frequency, your energetic signature, is the architectural plan the universe follows. You are designing existence not through effort, but through coherence. Every emotion, every thought, every act of attention etches its pattern into the field, and the universe, ever faithful to your vibration, builds from the blueprint you provide. Part 6. The subconscious program. The hidden signal stronger than intention. The quantum field doesn't just respond to what you consciously want. It also, and far more powerfully, responds to what you unconsciously believe. Most people assume that if they think positive thoughts for a few minutes a day, visualize success, and repeat affirmations, reality will bend in their favor. But neuroscience and the science of consciousness reveal a sobering truth. It's not your fleeting thoughts that shape your world. It's the subconscious frequency you broadcast every second of every day. Think about your average day. You might spend 20 minutes in the morning visualizing abundance, freedom, or love. But for the remaining 23 hours and 40 minutes, you run on autopilot, feeling anxious about bills, replaying memories of failure, worrying about how others perceive you. You live from emotional programs written years ago. The quantum field doesn't tally minutes of meditation. It doesn't count how many times you said, "I am wealthy." It simply reflects the signal that dominates. Whichever vibration is stronger, longer, and more consistent, that's the one the field calls truth. So if 95% of your day is spent vibrating in fear, doubt, or unworthiness, the field has no choice but to mirror that frequency. You might consciously want abundance, but your subconscious keeps transmitting scarcity. You might consciously want love, but your nervous system is still calibrated to rejection. The field listens not to your words, but to the energetic program running underneath them. That's why so many people end up manifesting in frustration. They visualize, they hope, they wait, but the signal being emitted from their subconscious contradicts their intention. It's like trying to tune a radio to 101.1 FM while your frequency is still set to 87.5. No matter how beautifully you describe the music you want to hear, the signal won't match, and so it can't come through. Your subconscious is that signal. It's the background frequency humming 24 hours a day, transmitting information to the field about who you believe you are, what you think you deserve, and how safe it is to receive. And here's what most people miss. You don't rewrite that signal by force. You shift it through awareness. Transformation doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with seeing more. Every time you catch yourself reacting in an old way, you've already interrupted the code. That single moment of awareness creates a gap, a space where a new possibility can slip in. Joe Dispenza calls this breaking the habit of being yourself. It's not a battle against your old self. It's a gentle awakening. It's learning to observe your inner programs with stillness, without judgment, until the light of awareness dissolves them. Because the moment you become the observer of your unconscious patterns, you are no longer trapped inside them. You've stepped outside the loop, and in that very instant, the quantum field registers a new signal. Neuroscientists have found that when you witness a habit instead of acting from it, the neural pathways that support it begin to weaken. Energy is withdrawn from the old circuit and rerouted toward a new possibility. This is what awakening truly means. Not escaping reality, but reclaiming authorship of it. Awareness is the first act of freedom. You cannot change what you do not see. But once the light of consciousness shines on the subconscious, the old pattern starts to dissolve, and a new frequency begins to emerge. You don't need to fight the old story. You simply need to stop fueling it with attention. Every breath of awareness becomes a rewrite in your field. Every moment you pause before reacting is a quantum vote for a new timeline. So the real work is not in controlling your thoughts. It's in remembering who's thinking them. When you stand in that remembrance, you are no longer a victim of reality. You become its author. Because you've reclaimed the steering wheel of attention, the most powerful force consciousness possesses. Part 7. Coherence. When mind, emotion, and intention vibrate as one. If you've ever wondered why your meditations, affirmations, or visualizations sometimes feel powerful, but lead to little change, the missing link is a single, profound state called coherence. Coherence means harmony. It's when every part of your being, mind, heart, body, and intention, vibrates on the same frequency. When what you think, what you feel, and what you mean all move in one direction. In that state, the signal you send into the quantum field is clear, strong, and magnetic. But when these parts of you are out of sync, when the mind says, "I want abundance," but the heart whispers, "I don't believe I deserve it," the field receives a mixed signal. The result? Static. You're broadcasting multiple frequencies at once, and the universe can't lock onto your transmission. Imagine you're tuning a radio. When you hit the right frequency, the sound is pure and crisp, but when you're even slightly off, it's full of noise, distortion, interference. Conscious creation works exactly the same way. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are coherent, you become a perfect transmitter, and the field, always faithful, mirrors back the signal you sustain. Most people live in incoherence without realizing it. They say they want love, but their body still carries memories of heartbreak. They claim they want success, but guilt around money hums quietly underneath. They try to manifest freedom while their nervous system is still coded for fear. The universe isn't withholding anything. It's just receiving a scrambled signal. Coherence isn't about thinking positive. It's about vibrational alignment. It's the unity between thought and feeling, where your inner world finally speaks a single language. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls this the unified field within. When your brain and heart begin to move in harmony, something miraculous happens. Waves of chaos settle into symmetry. Your heart rhythm becomes ordered. Your brain waves shift from high beta, the stress state, into alpha and theta, the intuitive, creative flow states. At the HeartMath Institute, scientists have measured this shift. When a person enters coherence, the electromagnetic field of the heart expands dramatically, thousands of times stronger than the brain's field. That energy radiates several feet beyond the body, interacting with the field around you, influencing not only your biology but also the probabilities that surround you. In this state, genes related to repair, growth, and immunity turn on. Your immune system strengthens, your creativity awakens, and the external world begins to organize itself around your new vibration. It's no longer about trying to manifest. You've become the frequency itself. You are no longer requesting a reality. You are resonating with it. Coherence is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It's where personal consciousness syncs with universal intelligence, where creation stops being an act of effort and becomes a state of resonance. When you reach coherence, you no longer ask, "When will it come?" Because in the energetic realm, it's already here. The signal has been received. The material world is simply catching up. This is the point where practice becomes embodiment. You no longer meditate to make something happen. You meditate to stay in tune with what's already happening through you. Coherence is not a technique. It's a homecoming. It's the moment when your inner symphony plays in perfect harmony, and the universe, recognizing its own melody in you, begins to dance along. Part 8. The Silent Observer. The power of stillness. Beneath all striving, beneath every effort to control, there exists a deeper state, the state of the silent observer. This is the part of you untouched by chaos, unmoved by outcomes, unbothered by appearances. It doesn't rush. It doesn't react. It simply sees. And within that seeing, a new kind of power awakens. The power of stillness. In the noise of the world, silence is not absence. It's presence. It's the background field from which all things arise. When you enter that silence, energy begins to reorganize on its own. Reality doesn't change because you push it. It changes because you stop interfering with its natural flow. In quantum physics, a wave doesn't collapse through force. It collapses through clear observation. Likewise, in life, manifestation doesn't come from effort. It comes from presence so pure that doubt can no longer exist. When you see something with total clarity and no resistance, it becomes inevitable. When you rest in stillness, you become the most transparent frequency the quantum field can mirror. No static of worry, no interference of fear, just the luminous field of awareness itself. And in that transparency, the universe responds instantly, because nothing is blocking the signal. Many people believe creation is an action, that they must do, fix, or force life into alignment. But the quantum truth whispers otherwise. Presence is the highest form of action. The silent observer doesn't retreat from the world. It participates, but from a deeper dimension of knowing. It watches events unfold without collapsing into them. It understands that what's happening is only temporary data, while what you are is the eternal stillness witnessing that data. From this level, you no longer need to change circumstances. You simply change your vantage point. And the world, which is only a reflection, realigns on its own. This is the ultimate paradox. The quieter you become, the louder the universe responds. The less you fight, the more energy arranges itself in perfect order. And when you stop trying to make it happen, reality begins to breathe in rhythm with you. The silent observer is not indifferent. It's aware beyond reaction. It doesn't resist what is. It simply sees through it. It knows that there is an intelligence orchestrating everything, an unseen harmony moving through apparent chaos. It doesn't push because it knows that its frequency is the invitation. It doesn't need to convince because its energy already speaks louder than words. In this state, you become a living magnet, not by chasing, but by allowing. Everything that resonates begins to drift toward you, not because you pull it closer, but because the stillness inside you creates perfect clarity in the field. Like iron filings arranging themselves around a magnet, reality reorganizes itself around your calm. Stillness is not passivity, it's mastery. It's the most refined form of participation. It's the act of total trust, the knowing that every possibility already exists, and your presence alone determines which one takes form. When you sit in silence, not asking, not fearing, not rushing, reality begins to synchronize with your breath. Life stops happening to you and starts flowing through you. You realize that you're not a small mind navigating the universe. You are the universe perceiving itself through the stillness of your awareness. And that is the true power of the silent observer. Without control, it moves everything. Without speaking, it commands. Without striving, it transforms. The world changes, not because you force it, but because you finally remembered who you are. The still point around which reality turns. Part 9, Embodiment and the Closing Loop. Observing as the Creator. And now, we arrive at the final revelation, the invitation that turns knowledge into embodiment, awareness into creation. It is this: Stop asking for proof. Stop chasing control. And instead, become the frequency of what you seek. The silent observer doesn't hope reality will change. It sees that it already has. It doesn't beg. It doesn't push. It simply becomes the vibration of what it chooses. And reality, unable to resist coherence, folds itself to match. Once you understand this mechanism, every method, every technique, every ritual begins to look unnecessary. You realize that manifestation was never about convincing the universe to give you something. It's about aligning your being with the version of you who already has it. Reality isn't testing you. It isn't withholding blessings to measure your worthiness. It's responding instantly, faithfully, to the signal you radiate in this moment. If your signal hums with lack, you'll meet lack. If your signal vibrates with wholeness, you'll meet wholeness. There are no exceptions, no moral loopholes, no divine favoritism, only the precise mechanics of resonance. This is the moment you understand that manifestation has never meant forcing reality to deliver. It means tuning yourself to the frequency where that reality already exists. Not asking for what you desire, but embodying the self that naturally experiences it. When you live in that alignment, something extraordinary happens. A version of you, the one who already lives the life you've been calling in, starts sending signals back through the field. It's as if two versions of you, present and future, stand at opposite ends of a quantum thread, and the more you match its frequency, the more that thread tightens, until one day the two become one. That's the moment where striving ends, where doing transforms into being, where the search collapses into realization. You stop acting to get there and begin expressing from the knowing that you already are there. This is the embodiment state, the quantum realization that you are no longer creating reality. You are reality, consciously aware of itself. And then you finally understand what every mystic, every sage, every quantum teacher has been trying to say. Creation doesn't begin with effort. It begins with presence. Each time you choose to observe from a higher possibility, you send a clear, vibrational instruction to the field. This is the version I choose to make real. That's the difference between those who wait for miracles and those who become them. One waits for the world to change. The other becomes the point from which change originates. So imagine two timelines before you now. One is built from old memory, from fear, doubt, limitation. The other is radiant, alive, overflowing with possibility. Both exist, side by side, waiting. And the universe asks only one question. Which one will you look at long enough to make it real? Every moment you choose to see through the eyes of your evolved self, you collapse that timeline into being, not through blind optimism, but through consistent awareness. You hold the frequency until it becomes the obvious reality. That's the secret of quantum embodiment. You don't chase the new reality, you inhabit it. You don't make it happen. You recognize it as already happening through you. Understanding the observer effect is only the beginning. The real mastery begins when you live as the observer itself. When you stop identifying with the character in the movie and realize you are also the light projecting it. Because when you change the light, the movie can't help but change. So if this message resonates, hold it, live it, breathe it, and anchor it with one powerful question. What am I choosing to observe? That is not just a reflection, it is a quantum command, a vibrational password that unlocks the next version of your reality. And the moment you ask it, the universe has already begun to respond.